You guys remember that video I did where I talked about what series are currently the pillars of the magazine, or at least what I believe them to be? Well, take a look at the cover of this issue. That's right. You can never doubt me again. Hey. Welcome to Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue 36 and 37. This is a combined issue, which means we're not getting an issue next week. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. But it will be a very eventful issue when it does come back in 2 weeks, because the issue after a combined issue is always full of news, and this issue is always full of teasing the news, so that way people will come back after that break, and they're not going to forget that the magazine ever existed to begin with. At least that's how they think. So this cover is absolutely amazing, and as I was saying in that intro, these are the exact series that I was saying that Jump likely views as the pillar of the magazine. And that's the most validating thing ever. I predicted it. I was right. I was right. These are the series they value the most. We got One Piece, Blue Box, Sakamoto Days, Ichi the Witch, and Kagurabachi. Love it or hate it, I'm spitting facts. So this cover is incredible. It's a Pokemon crossover. We have Luffy with Pikachu, of course, up front. We have Chinatsu from Blue Box with Totodile, which is absolutely adorable. Sakamoto with Chikorita. Got it's all the starters from the new game coming out, I think. Right? I think. I don't know. I'm not too plugged into Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure those are the starters for the new game. And yeah, Chihiro with Tepig. It does kind of feel like they weren't really allowed to choose which Pokemon to put them with. I kind of wish that had been different, but what can you do? Ichi is a different story. I like to imagine that this was a choice, because it is Mega Gardevoir, I think? Yeah, Mega Gardevoir. And this is part of a larger illustration with every series in the magazine, but it's not on the cover because, I mean, there's just not enough room. Usually when there is a combined issue, we do get every single series on the cover, but because it's a Pokemon crossover, there's not enough room for the Pokemon and the characters, so this was the compromise. But there is a full illustration out there. You can see it teased at the top there. I can't find it as of now. I'm not on a lot of social media, so I'm sure it is out there somewhere, probably, unless it hasn't been revealed yet. If I can find it, I'll put it on screen. If I can't, I don't know. That's just it. You'll see it eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this issue, so let's go ahead and get into it. We are One Piece Chapter 1156, Idols. Okay, so my brain was kind of at war with itself during the reading of this chapter. I'm gonna come out and just say, don't think I really liked this chapter. It's just really unfocused, and it's really distracting. So first, I do want to talk about this color page, because it's all three, like, you know, the big boys of each of the crews, the two pirate kings, really, and we know Luffy's going to become that one day. And then kind of the rest of the Straw Hats just kind of like on Luffy, really small, except Nami, who's massive. Yeah, I love this one. It's really great. But anyways, this chapter itself, yeah, so remember how this is a flashback about Loki? I don't think Oda does, because he is in it for maybe like 2 panels. And I'm just really confused at what we're doing here. I think this is gonna be better when it's all said and done, and I can just read this as a continuous story. But reading this flashback week to week is a roller coaster, and I'm not feeling it. Like, okay. That's not the right wording, because what I'm seeing is really interesting, and I do like seeing this stuff, but is this really the time to see it? It's not sitting right with me, and I hate that, because it's good, but I just don't think we should be doing this right now. Maybe a hot take, but that's just kind of where my head's at on it. I do like what I'm reading. Like, I can't say this is bad, because it's interesting. This is stuff I've always wanted to see, or been curious about, but I just don't like that we're taking so much time away from Loki right now. Like, I've talked about how this is similar to the Odin flashback before, but the Odin flashback balanced it out way more, and Odin was always the focus. Yeah, we went with Roger, yeah, we went with Whitebeard, but Odin was the center character. Here, we're actually just having like 2 chapters basically back to back where Loki is a footnote, and that just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure it'll come back around. I don't know in what capacity, but I'll put my faith in Oda. but I can't say that this chapter in particular really blew my mind. It was cool, but I'm just really distracted while I'm reading it.
Get this man a gun.
Sakamoto Days, chapter 224, Security Escort. Lou is here. That's something. But beyond that, I'm kind of just sad we're not seeing Nagumo versus Oki. I know, obviously I haven't read what anybody has to say about these chapters yet, but I'm sure that's probably what everybody is saying. Everybody was saying that last week when it was just half a chapter. I don't know what we're doing here. What is going on this week so far? It's only two chapters in, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm not sure what we're doing. And it sucks it's a break week too. We just have this random ass chapter. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. It was cool. Like I like these. I like seeing this little new Team Sakamoto form here with Atari fitting right in. I like Atari quite a bit. She is literally Neon from Hunter x Hunter, except less of a brat, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fine chapter. It's the same thing I said for One Piece. I'm just distracted. I just want to see Nagumo versus Oki. It's happening right now. Why can't we see it? We're being taken on a roller coaster here. I'm sure it'll all make sense when we, as this plays out. But as of where things stand now, just a little underwhelmed, which is fine. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, chapter 55, Roth's Confession. I did not think I'd be talking about this series this early in the video. Wow, this is high on the TOC. Holy hell. It's stuff like this where I just, I can't really comprehend how well this series is doing. At the very least, Shueisha must really like it. Like, they're really pushing for this to be something, because they're trying to get it in front of people's eyes, evidently. But this was a great chapter, really. It's a fight chapter, so there's not going to be a whole lot I can talk about. But the art was great, action was great. Getting a little bit of a tease for Astaroth's backstory, which is cool. I didn't really think we would get something like that, but seeming like we'll get a little bit of something. And also at the beginning, we do touch back in on that demon from chapter 1, which I always really liked. It's just nice to see him again. Definitely does make it feel like the series is going to wrap up here, just because we're kind of touching in on all these old characters. But I don't know, I still feel like it could go past this somehow. It's just like, they're pushing it. Like, it feels like there's more to do here, except it literally doesn't at the same time. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this series. But point is, I love this chapter. This was really, really great. Fun read. Awesome action. I can't complain. This was really, really good stuff. Each of the Witch, chapter 45, Appearances Deceiving. This whole chapter is basically just focused on Spika. I don't really know how to say that. I assume Spika, best I can think of, with this girl with the eye patch who is Kumuki's sister. We're just kind of getting into her head, learning. I mean, this is going to be a major character probably for this upcoming arc. She thinks very transactionally, it seems. She's thinking about the prospects of Ichi, this first male witch. And she considers marrying him, and that comes back around at the end in the most amazing way of all time, where she's saying all this stuff like, he's probably a wild child, like, I'd never want to do that, there's no point, there's too many risks, like, it's not worth it, yada yada. And then he walks out on stage in this cool ass outfit, he looks awesome with all of Team Discaris, they're debuting Team Discaris here. And she simply thinks, okay, wood. That is some very, very good localization there. The translator here, Adrienne Beck, deserves a lot of credit here, because that's amazing. I don't know what the original Japanese was there, but it definitely wasn't wood. And I assume it was something akin to it. And whatever it was, that is just perfect. That is so funny. I laughed my ass off. That's like the turn page of the sensory, just seeing like Ichi looking so sick, and then immediately the first thing you see is, okay, wood. Yeah, that was a great chapter. I wasn't like too sold on it at the beginning. It was kind of whatever, like just character introduction chapter, but it took you on a ride, and I really love that. Man, this series is just so good. It knows exactly what it's doing at all times. Hima-Ten, chapter 53, Neighbor. So looking ahead at the TOC now, I see that this is kind of the week they seem to be pushing a lot of series that they're kind of rooting for, quote unquote, up to the top, which is nice to see. Hima-Ten also very high this week. That's awesome. And we got some other stuff coming up that's pretty high too. This chapter though, when I was saying that Himeno, this idol character was introduced to 3 chapters ago, when I said she was like Misato, I really, at the time, was just thinking it was a loose connection, but now it is direct. Like, this is actually 100%, this is Misato from Evangelion. And I don't know how to feel about it, because this is a different kind of series from Evangelion, where something like this, this is a grounded in reality series, and we have a now teacher, as we see at the end of the chapter, with a unique relationship with our main character, Iemori, to say the least. Where is this going? I don't know exactly. I'm worried about it. I don't want this to go too off the rails. Let's hope not. But other than that, I just wanted to point out that there's one panel here where Iemori is holding a duster, I think, and it looks like a giant corn dog. When I first turned the page, I thought he was holding a massive corn dog. Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 44. Summer isn't over yet. We're back. This is the Shinobi Undercover I like. The slice of life stuff. I know this is an action series for the most part, but it didn't really start that way. It was like mild action with slice of life elements. We've been in this fight for so long, I almost forgot what this series was. This is such a nice chapter. I loved it. This reminded me why I like this series, why I'm endeared to it. It's been a while. This is the part of it that I like. It's so good and endearing. Obviously, we're seeing Yotaka and Aoi develop their relationship here, and we cap it off with Yotaka realizing that he does have a crush on her, in fact. And that is, what a nice page that is to end on. This is a great, great chapter. I loved the whole thing. This is honestly, to my surprise, early on, obviously this is still early in the issue, this is a contender for chapter of the week. I loved this. Every moment was so sweet and cute. It's just nice to see these kids having fun again. They're not fighting and doing all that kind of nonsense, which is fine. That's a good part of the series. I liked it how it was before, where it was on the side, he's still defending her, but he's trying to live a normal life as well. And yes, that is still happening, and that was happening. But we just got too lost in the weeds, I think, in that fight arc we just had. I don't know, that's probably a hot take. I think a lot of people have been enjoying the fighting, but it's just not exactly for me, really. The art's cool, yada yada, whatever. But this is what I like, and I really, really liked this chapter. This is just a perfect encapsulation of the things I want from this series. Except it didn't have any of the action, but that's fine. It'll come back. Loved it. No notes. Great. Kagurabachi Chapter 89, Battle Chaos. Got a cool color page to kick it off with. Really dynamic poses, like usual for this series. Looks great. Chapter itself, it's fine. This isn't my favorite chapter. It's okay. It's just character introductions, new arc setup, even though we're kind of in the same arc. Kagurabachi's weird in that way. There's not really arcs per se. Well, there definitely are. Lately, it just hasn't felt like it. We're moving. I will say, the main thing I want to talk about with this chapter is this new character here, who, did we learn his name? I didn't write it down if we did. Whoops, my bad. Mustache guy. He is not my favorite design in this series. I can tell you that. There's just something about him I really don't like the look of. And he's supposed to be like a charmer, like handsome, but he doesn't look very good. I don't know if that's just me, but he looks rough. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. It was a cool chapter. We're setting things up. We're getting things moving for the conflict to come. That was definitely the highlight, the main sticking point I had to talk about before just moving on. Ping-Pong Peril Chapter 5. Bzzzt. Another banger. I'm just loving this series so much. It just has so much personality and charm. Like, we have this concept here. Again, I talked about it last week, what they're doing. They're playing in a bathhouse. But now we have the introduction to this electrical bath, which I don't know if that's really a thing in real life. That sounds dangerous, but what do I know? But there's this 1 million volt electric bath that this bathhouse worker has invented herself. It's to show, this chapter to me is communicating that we do not need to take the series seriously. It isn't taking itself seriously. We're watching crazy ping pong. That's what this series is about. The story is just a loose avenue to make these absurd battles happen, and they are battles. This is a battle. These two are actually fighting each other with like electricity. He ran the ball across the electric bath and into her, like carrying the electricity with it. Crazy shit. It's awesome though. I love this so much. This series is so fun to read. One day, you know, when this is all over, there's just more chapters out, I'd love to binge read it. It'd probably be so fun that way, because it sucks having to wait. I just want to see how these wacky scenarios wrap up and conclude, but gotta wait 2 weeks this time. That sucks. Another great chapter. I'm just really loving this series so far. I hope it sticks around. I'm just really praying for it, because I've been let down before. Blue Box Chapter 206, Nothing Yet. And it is very interesting to me that that is the line they choose as the chapter title, because that's the final line. Or Kyo asks, did something happen? She says, nothing yet. So the moral of the story for this chapter to me is that I just got to be along for the ride. I don't know where we're going. I can't predict it. I'm not going to bother trying to predict it. I do not know what we're doing here. I have faith in Koji Miura. She's an incredible mangaka. I love this series to death. I think we're in good hands. I just really cannot pinpoint what kind of route we're going on with this story right now. We're re-exploring Hina, which is something a lot of people have wanted, including myself. I've wanted Hina to have a bigger focus, but I don't know if this is how I wanted it. But again, I'm along for the ride. I'm putting myself to the whims of the author. Let's see how this goes. Man, and I love Hina. I really do. But the way she's thinking doesn't sound healthy to me. Like, I don't know if she should be letting herself think that way, but that's also a messed up thing to say, you know, like, think how you want. That's healthy, you know, get things out. Well, except she's keeping them in, I guess. I don't know. This is tough. Because obviously she still has feelings for him. He's moved on, way on. He's on a different life. Like, you know, this is the far past to him, but Hina's still there. And this is a really sweet chapter overall, just seeing the two of them talk again. It's been a while since we've had moments like this. I think back to, very early on in the series when we get stuff like this all the time, and that feels like that again. But yeah, man, I'm just not sure what we're doing, and that's fine. This isn't a complaint. It does kind of stress me out in a way, because I don't want this to be a whole long drawn out thing. At least I don't think I do. Man, my head's all over the place. Honestly, I don't know. I'm on the ride. That's the moral of the story. Let's just see what happens. It was a good chapter though, for the record.
That's a baseball!
Harukaze Mound, Chapter 8, Nagiharu's Proof. Really cool chapter. The art sure is good in this series. You know, I love that pitch. That looked really damn cool. And this is our first, this is our main character here's first big moment. The MC stepping up, doing a really cool thing in a game. Not a very serious game, but it is a game. And that was sick. It was cool to look at. This is, by the way, this is the first time the series is getting to be ranked properly, because this is Chapter 8. So it's relatively high. However, I still want to take it with a grain of salt right now, because this week they seem to be experimenting a little bit with the TOC. Maybe just because it's a break week or something. They're just trying to get series in people's heads over the break. And it would make sense to have this one in particular up high, because it's new and it's a sports series. They've been desperately trying to get a sports series in here, and it seems like they're probably going to commit to this one. It's got sauce. It's got the art. It's got the. I'm not gonna say it's really got the story to carry it right now. There kind of isn't a story at the moment, really. We're just kind of going through the motions. But again, sports series stuff, I talk about this every week. You don't need to hear it again. A cool chapter, though. It's as cool as you can get for an early sports chapter, in my opinion. So, right on.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaedegami Chapter 7, Empty. So, it's a cool chapter. Nothing too crazy to say about it. It is an action chapter. Learning a little bit more about our characters, how they feel about each other, yada yada. Seeing the resolve of Ko, who, by the way, I have his name down now. It's just Ko. It's 3 letters. It's not hard to remember. But yeah, I guess the notable thing to talk about here is the ending, where we seem to be, I guess, because, Shio was supposed to take Ko over, to be her new vessel or whatever, but we kind of have this weird, sort of contract deal instead. But this seems to be her, actually taking over and becoming, taking over his body and fighting in it, which it was cool how it was done, like the weird drippy body and stuff. It looked neat. Yeah, a pretty good chapter. You know, I can't say I'm too locked in or interested in this series, unfortunately. I don't know why. I do see a lot of positivity about it, which is great. I'm sure I'll get there one day. You gotta remember, I mean, obviously this channel wasn't around back then, but when Kagurabachi started, I wasn't a big fan of it. But over time, it won me over a lot, and now I love it. This could be the same thing here. I may not be feeling it now all that much, but as it progresses, I might start to fall in love. But as of now, I think this series is just fine. You know, I read it, I don't dislike it or anything. It's something I read and I move on. But I'm hoping as it progresses, this will be something I start to slow down a bit more for. Like I kind of hone in, I lock in, and I want to know what happens and I care about what's going to happen. Just not there yet. Me and Roboco Chapter 244, Homecoming and Roboco. Really good chapter here. I thought this was really fun. So we're meeting Bondo's grandparents here. The funniest thing of the whole chapter was this grandma. She barely talks. She's hardly relevant in the chapter, but she just has a Yu-Gi-Oh haircut. Like just Yugi. And they're so casual about it. They're just like, oh, cool Yu-Gi haircut, grandma. That was just killing me. I love that a lot. But the main focus is on this grandpa and Roboco dynamic, which is a very typical, like, stubborn grandpa, you know, whatever. It eventually warms up, but actually not really. Sort of, but kind of not exactly. So there's a funny moment where Roboco basically like saves his life or prevents him from having like heat stroke or whatever. And the narration from, I think from Bondo is like, you know, you'd think it'd be like, yeah, from here they got along. That was all he needed to come around to Roboco. But actually, nothing changes. They still act exactly the same after that happened. You know, we end off on an interesting note where they kind of have a love-hate relationship sort of deal with them. It's cool. I think this will be a fun dynamic to occasionally revisit. It's just something new to add to spice things up to the series. It's not going to be something we check in on all the time. It's just going to be probably one of those occasional bits we get that return in this series, and this is a good one to add to the lineup. I think this is pretty fun. It's a really funny concept. So, good stuff. Akane-banashi Chapter 169, False Classic. Karashi's performance has begun, and this is a cool idea. So it's basically he's taking a modern story and making it sound as if it's a classic, and he calls it a false classic. This is his style. Which is cool as hell. I think that's just really interesting, you know, like who would think to do that? You know, it's very like Karashi, you know, it's something you would not think about. He even literally calls it an entirely counterfeit take on the oldies. So he's very self-aware, like this is just like fake nonsense, basically. I'm excited to see how this turns out. We don't get to really see a whole lot of it here, but I am excited to see this performance carry out. This arc continues to be great. Obviously, the first chapter of the performances usually aren't super incredible or anything, but as we continue on here, I think this is going to be really, really cool.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Nice Prison Chapter 15, Prison Pact Romance Deathmatch. That sucks. Anyways, mildly funny moment here with the mom seeing the super female prisoner or whatever. Thought that was kind of funny, but then it ruins it and it's not funny anymore after that. So the big thing to talk about in this chapter, guys, it's back. The 4-panel theater is back. We won. Here we go. I haven't read it. I want to read it live right here. Okay, let's start, obviously, right to left. Got life, okay? You want a dog? Yeah, I'll take good care of him. Okay, I'll test you then. Hold on, I'm going to mark my territory. Hey, stop this. Stop. You'll be taking care of another life. I won't let you do something as irresponsible. Taking care of a pet, going halfway through. Okay. That's, so it's a dad pretending to be a dog. Alright. Now there's the gal that's kind to nerds. Here's a gal girl who's kind to nerds in the class next door. Let's go talk to her. Was that? We'll see ourselves out. You should be kind to them. If I treat them kindly and they get the wrong idea, that won't be any good for either of them. It really is kind.
Bruh.
Ekiden Bros, Chapter 6, let's move in. Alright, one thing I will give this series credit on, and obviously I haven't been very high on this series, is that, you know, it's college. I do appreciate the fact that we are in a college setting. It's refreshing, it's nice, I like it. However, I think to the general audience that reads this magazine in its home country of Japan, that's not going to be a positive thing. They probably don't want to read about college life. And I think it's going to make this series fail. I could be wrong. But either way, I think this series will fail for other reasons. So it doesn't really matter ultimately. But it's a bold choice. You don't really see Shonen do college very often. I can't even think of the last time we've had a college setting. I mean, Blue Box technically now half of it is because of Chinatsu, but that doesn't really count. Have we even seen her in college yet? Whatever, this isn't Blue Box. Yeah, I don't know, it was a fine chapter. I actually kind of like the manager girl. I thought that was funny, the Gyaru manager. It's always a female manager. It's every sports series, whatever, you know. But the moment where she's just like showing them around and just keeps like barging in on people and just saying, oh, sorry. I thought that was funny. It was a funny little moment, kind of endearing. Yeah, I don't know. It was an okay chapter. I think this is probably the best one yet, even though there was like little to no running in it, a little bit at the end, but that's it. Maybe that's why it was so good, because the running looks like shit in this series. Witch Watch Chapter 212, Childhood's End, Part 1. Here we go. We're finally here. The child Nico stuff is ending, and we're gonna get back to normal Nico soon enough. First, we have a cute little send-off here to the, this portion of the story, which I thought was pretty sweet. We're not done yet. I'm not gonna have a lot to say about this chapter, simply because next chapter will probably be a little bit more eventful, but I do like Nico here telling everybody her thoughts on them, like what they all did for her and during this time and all that. It was sweet. It does feel like we're kind of saying goodbye to a character, because this Nico has sort of become a new character. She's been very different this whole time. And it'll be fun to get the old Nico back for sure. It'll probably be different even then though. I don't really know what to expect going forward from this. But it was a sweet chapter. Especially my favorite moment here was her and Khan just talking to each other about the situation with Moe and all that. It's just, it was really good. There's some solid stuff in here, and I'm curious to see what happens next chapter. That'll definitely be a more eventful one, I'm sure. Probably why we left off on a cliffhanger before a break. Wants to get people to come back, and it'll definitely work here. It feels like something big's coming, or at least some sort of like emotional climax is coming, and that'll be sweet.
You what?
Kill Blue, Chapter 112, Don't Sweat the Details. And that feels like a statement directly to the reader. Like, just don't worry about the fact that we turn these kids into adults. There's a drug that just does it. Whatever, who cares? This series is definitely reaching its conclusion pretty rapidly. I can confidently say that now. I think this will be over this year. I really do. That's fine with me. I remember a few weeks ago I was saying I was kind of locked into this series. I was enjoying it, but as this progresses, I'm kind of falling out of it more and more as the chapters go by. It's just, I don't know, just not doing a whole lot for me. But whatever, it's fine. It was a fine chapter, I guess. I don't know. Don't sweat the details.
What are you doing, step bro?
Nue's Exorcist Chapter 109, Tomboy Ishu. I hate to say it, guys, but I kind of just don't have anything at all to say about this one. I think this has happened once before with Nue. Maybe, if I'm remembering right. But yeah, there were no thoughts forming in my head as I read this. I don't know. Yeah, I seriously can't think of a single thing to say. That sucks, but that's just the reality of the situation. I don't know. It was whatever. I don't really care about a single damn thing happening in this chapter. I cannot lie to you. Pretty uninteresting. I guess it was fine. I don't know. Maybe if I cared more, it would be good, but I don't. The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 213, One in Body and Mind, 1352. Okay, so I gotta admit, first I opened this chapter, I was like, oh, it's a Takauji chapter, rolled my eyes, did the whole song and dance, you know how it goes. But this is actually really good. This was a really good chapter. I thought this was maybe the best Takauji chapter ever. Seriously. This was really cool. I really like this idea of taking this historical moment where, I don't know the full story of the history, by the way. I know roughly what happens, but Takauji, I guess, is sick at this point in history. And there's always cool efforts in the series to, have fantastical explanations for things that probably aren't too filled in the historical data. So in this case, this godlike being or whatever that resides within Takauji is leaving. So that's why he's getting sick at this point. It's just cool. Really cool imagery. Takauji's pissed. So much rage towards Tokiyuki all the time, and it's coming to its head here. And man, it's just cool as hell. Seriously, just cool imagery. Takauji always has cool imagery. That's the one thing I will give Takauji as a villain. He is insane. He's always interesting to watch and read. Yeah, I don't know. Not much more to say. This was a really cool chapter. Seriously. I feel like we're getting towards endgame. This has been the case for a while, but we're really starting to set up the final conflict here, and I'm excited, kinda. I'm not super into this series. I've talked about this many times, but when it gets me, and it sure got me here. This was cool. I like this a lot. Odor of the Flame, Chapter 13, Heroic Saga. Ending off the magazine with Odor of the Flame again, it's getting axed, and we can see that now. We have now introduced our avenue to end the series. We have this kind of servant of the king, as like some sort of emissary, I assume, who's gonna speed the plot up times 50, and we're gonna get to the final boss through this guy, I have to imagine. Really cool design, though, I gotta say. He looks sick as hell. But beyond that, this whole chapter, it's more tropey stuff. It's the main villain of this arc. It's very small. The big ear guy doing a move because he respects Oter. Whatever. It's fine. I don't know. It's, again, very mixed feelings about this series all around. It's all over the place. This chapter, absolutely no exception. I can justify it here, though, because he probably already got the notice that this is getting axed. Right, wrap it up by chapter 18. Let's go. Get on with it. So he's just trying to get some ideas in there before he has to wrap things up, and it sucks. You always hate to see it, but man, I really wanted more from this series, and it's a shame. I can't talk about it too much like this, 'cause I gotta save this for when it actually gets axed, because who knows, maybe some miracle will happen, and it'll catch flames again and stay in the magazine. I don't think so, but hey, you never know. It was an okay chapter, It just kind of makes me sad. Even if, well, I guess I can't say that for sure, but when it's a series that I don't hate, don't love, it's just in the middle, it does make me sad, because especially here, because man, this guy can draw, he really can, but he can't do any of the other stuff that well. But I want him to, because man, whatever, I've talked about this enough. It's, we'll see what happens. I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna get axed, but it's a shame. You hate to see it. Alright, that's going to do it for Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue 36 and 37. This was a really solid issue, I gotta say. A lot of good stuff. Everything was pretty solid. Not a lot of stinkers, that's for sure. Little, kind of a middling few chapters. The magazine started off a little weird to me. I wasn't super feeling it, but as we got along, I was really feeling it. Chapter of the week may surprise you. It's Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 44, Summer Isn't Over Yet. That's right. I mentioned it earlier, I said it was a contender, and by the way, I think I need to stop mentioning that things are contenders, because every time I've said that, it ended up being the chapter of the week. There's very clearly some kind of mental barrier that is exceeded, and I just even after reading a chapter, I just know it's chapter of the week material. So I need to stop saying that, because it gives it away every single time. But Shinobi Undercover took it. I thought that was a really, really great chapter. Seriously. I don't know. I can't fully put into words why. other than just the fact that this is what I like from this series. It's just cool, cute slice of life stuff. You know, it works so well. Yotaka's very endearing. Aoi is incredibly endearing. Just a really sweet cast, and I love seeing them do things together, especially the two of them. And it's also, you know, to give it credit to that fighting arc we just had, it does feel even more satisfying after having been through that arc. We're back to this. This is kind of Yotaka's reward. He won. He was fighting for her, technically, to some degree, and now he's with her. He's spending a nice evening with her. Great chapter. So yeah, that's all we got this week. Next week, I don't know what I'm doing yet, because there is no issue of Jump, so we'll reconvene in 2 weeks with issue 38, which is looking to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of news in it. Who knows how significant the news will be. We're getting like JJK anime news promised, etc. A very highly rumored Akane-banashi anime, which I'm so excited to hear about. I hope that's real. That's it. Thanks for watching. Check out my other stuff if you want to. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your chapter of the week was. Tell me what chapters you hated, what you liked, what you didn't like, you know, all that good stuff. And I will see you in whatever we decide to watch next. Take it easy, guys.